How's your week going so far?
Oh, it was a busy day today. You?
Same, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
I'm still busy. But I'm better now. It'll be a better night. I don't think this meeting's gonna take too long, so that's good. I can get the grass mowed tonight and sweat a little bit.
Actually, like pulling weeds in my dress clothes right before we came here. Gotta get it done.
And it's humid out there too. I mean, you're in the spotlight. You need to be in the center tonight.
Recording in progress.
Call meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, would you take roll, please?
Absolutely. Commissioner Dibdahl?
Here.
Commissioner Cronin?
Here.
Commissioner Wire?
Here.
Commissioner Shaw?
For the final time, I'm here.
And Mr. Mayor Lindsay.
Here. Okay. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under acknowledgements, we're going to recognize Mr. Adam Shaw
Do consent
for
calendar.
5. Did we do consent?
No, we gotta do consent.
Sorry about that. I missed that one.
I know it's exciting to give me a plaque, I know.
Or show you the door.
I'll do that too.
All right, is there anything anyone wants to discuss on the consent calendar? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. These lights in that really reflect off this paper.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we want to recognize Adam Shaw for 5+ years of service as a commissioner for the city of Madison. And wish you good luck.
It's been fun. I've actually enjoyed it. I will actually miss it. I was down in Lennox today with Nate Vanderplatz and I was waiting for him to try and get me to run, but
Yeah,
the answer will be no. I've served my time and done my civic duty, so,
yeah, well, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Under unfinished business, authorize the mayor to sign the amended permit to occupy right-of-way with Dakota State University. And Ryan, would you address that topic?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this item is an amendment to the previously approved but unsigned permit to occupy right-of-way for Lee Avenue north of 9th Street. The City Commission reviewed the original permit on January 21st. However, it wasn't signed by DSU at that time. They wanted to take a look at the permit to occupy right-of-way, and they had suggested number 4 on the form, which is an indemnification. And now they intend to proceed with construction. The copy that's in the agenda packet was signed by a contractor. We've since asked Dakota State University to have someone that represents the state or DSU sign that permit, so that will change. And then they are coming forward with an updated exhibit as well. I don't have that yet, so I would make this contingent upon DSU's signature and an appropriate exhibit.
And the appropriate exhibit is to indemnify and hold the DSU harmless too, is that correct?
Yeah, so the exhibit would be a map, and that would show their construction project and the limits at which they would be building. And then that would show us that our electric line that runs up through the middle of the Lee Avenue right-of-way is safe.
Very good. Questions or comments? Okay, if not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
So are we approving upon, are we waiting for an exhibit or? what?
Yeah, I would say
I think we
we
should
would
wait, should
wait
not.
for the exhibit before the mayor would sign it.
So should we just
We
table?
Can we approve it without the exhibit?
I'd kinda like to see what's on it.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe that we table it until the next meeting then.
I'll make a motion to table this till the next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under new business, authorize the mayor to sign change order number 2, Madison Phase 1A Sanitary Sewer CIPP Lining, Segment 6, HK Solutions Incorporated. And again, I'll ask Ryan to address this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This change order is being presented for reconciliation of the final adjustment of quantities on the project. Attached to the agenda is the change order and adjustment of quantities breakout. This shows quantity additions for 2 bid items and deductions for 6. That brings the net decrease of the change order to $17,141.70 and brings the total contract price to $273,616.52.
Questions, comments? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 13, authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1, Madison Phase 1B and 2A Sanitary Sewer CIPP Lining, Segment 7 with HK Solutions. And again, Ryan, would you address this, please?
Yes, thank you. So this change order is very similar to the last one. This one's presented also for reconciliation of the final quantities on the project. Also attached to the agenda is a change order and adjustment of quantities breakout to this item as well. This shows quantity additions for 4 bid items and deductions on 6 different bid items. The net decrease of this change order is $31,925.40. That brings the total contract price to $395,311.02.
Questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 14, acknowledge the 2025 to 2029 Infrastructure Improvement Plan. And again, I'll ask Ryan if he'll address this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an acknowledgement, as you had mentioned. I think my role and the role of my department is we have a responsibility for ensuring that our public infrastructure systems, roads, water, sewer, storm sewer, are safe, reliable, and capable of supporting current and future community needs. So we've developed this IAP plan. So this 5-year infrastructure improvement plan is a plan that Banner Associates has been working on with me and with other departments such as Amy and Finance and Utilities. It's a strategic document that outlines the city's major infrastructure projects over a rolling 5-year period. So this would be just our major projects. It won't include anything like chip seals or sidewalk projects or anything of that nature. These would be more your utility projects and road reconstructions. So this is both a planning tool and a communication framework to guide how we prioritize, design, and fund improvement projects and improve and maintain our public assets. The plan's really designed to address aging systems and then look at future capacity needs. It assesses our current infrastructure conditions through the use of studies, by using data inspections and some service life analysis. By doing so, we can reduce costly emergency repairs and schedule preventative maintenance so we're not running into issues. It also provides long-term vision and strategic planning to prioritize projects based on urgency, risk, and cost benefit, and then helps to align our infrastructure goals. Coordinates across departments to streamline construction efforts and minimize disruptions. So we're coordinating water main replacements with street replacements and street resurfacing, and this will help us minimize duplication and disruption. Ensures alignment with any private sector developments. So as we have new developments such as housing or industrial developments coming in, we can pivot and move things around to accommodate if we have a good plan, a good 5-year plan where we can move projects around. And then it also helps us to forecast funding needs and identify potential sources of revenue. That includes both local budgets and as well as leveraging state and federal funding opportunities that have matching timelines. And really just to increase transparency by clearly communicating planned improvements to you, the elected officials, to other departments within the city, and to the public. And we hope that this builds public trust by clearly communicating plans, timelines, benefits. We also hope that it encourages input from residents and stakeholders as well. So we want to improve the project outcomes, and having additional input is going to help us do that. So, in closing, I would just say that this IAP plan is essential for managing our city's physical assets responsibly. It also ensures that our limited resources are spent where they're needed most, and not just fixing today's problem, but by building tomorrow's reliability. A well-developed 5-year infrastructure plan is just meant to serve as a roadmap. This is going to be something that we change every year. It'll be updated every year, but the point of it is just to ensure safety, reliability, and efficient public systems that support growth, sustainability, and overall community well-being. I will, of course, stand by with any questions you have, but I'd also like to invite Weston Blasius with Banner up to present the 2025-2029 Infrastructure Improvement Plan.
Very good. If you see the button on the front? I do. And the red light will come on when there you are. Very good.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm Weston Blasius with Banner Associates. We, of course, assisted Ryan and his staff on preparing this infrastructure improvements plan. Ryan did a great job of introducing the plan. I'll probably refer to it as IIP, short for the Infrastructure Improvement Plan. Like Ryan mentioned, it's a 5-year planning document. The scope includes water, wastewater, drainage, streets. Like he said, there's some things that wouldn't be included, like the city's general maintenance items. This is a high-level plan, and for that reason, what's included in the plan is projects that would significantly impact the community. And so that's impacted regarding inconveniences that the community might experience from the project, as well as financial impact. The plan does not cover things such as the wastewater treatment facility or the water treatment facility. Same thing too, like I mentioned, with some of these smaller projects that would require maintenance. Where we see the benefits of the infrastructure improvements plan, and the city has had a plan in place in previous years. The last update was made in November of 2020, and that would have been the plan for 2021 through 2025. In review of that plan, the city's completed a majority of that work, and so that's commendable. That was a substantial amount of work that the city completed on behalf, of the community. Banner being a part of those projects should be commended that the city was aggressive, went after some funding opportunities, and was able to complete the amount of infrastructure that they were in the last 5 years. And that included a large scope project through rural development funding, and another large scope project using the American Rescue Act financing, which brought plenty of grant dollars to assist with the projects, and then state revolving fund loans to assist with the project. So the benefits would be the commission then is able to provide direction on this plan and direction on how to move forward. Of course, this is being presented as a plan. Any action that's taken would have to be brought in front of the commission, and they'd have to give approval for moving any of this work forward. Again, like Ryan mentioned, the community is then informed of what the city's goals are with this community's infrastructure. And then also, like Ryan mentioned, the city and the consultants in the planning district are able to then seek out funding opportunities to match up with the scope of work that you have in this plan. And everybody has a plan. There's a lot of data that goes behind development of this plan. It's presented in a fairly simple format, so that way it's an easy reference on where we're doing work, where is it planned to complete some of these improvements, and who's going to be impacted. So that overall plan that we have, it shows the areas of town that are going to be impacted by construction in the next 5 years, as well as a table that includes the proposed studies that we would complete in the next 5 years as well. And I'd like to go through each year of improvements with the commission. So looking at 2025, so construction this year, there's 5 different construction projects that are underway, and one that's planned to be started this year. We've got a project identified as segment 5A on South Union Avenue from Silver Creek south to 7th Street, which is a water and sanitary utility replacement project. Segment 5B is on Highland Avenue, and that's from Northwest 2nd to Southwest 4th Street, and that's primarily a water replacement project with a small amount of sanitary scope. Segment 4 is a project that had started last year and is being completed this year. It's on Highway 34 on the southeast side of town, and that was a water looping project to increase the water service in that southeast area of town. Park Creek Walls is an ongoing project that started during the winter and has continued into the spring, and that's reconstruction of a flood control channel. That's been partially funded by FEMA as well, so there's been some financial assistance on that project. And of course, one of the premier projects would be on Egan Avenue, and the phase that's being completed this year is from 2nd Street on Egan to Northwest 5th Street. There is one project identified on here, segment 9, that's at the intersection of 5th and Blanche, and that's a sanitary sewer replacement scope of work that'll also include a few other utilities in that intersection. But the necessity of that project was derived from a little bit of an emergency situation with the condition of that manhole structure. So trying to identify the appropriate time to complete that work with Egan Avenue going on and the Memorial Park project, we're looking at trying to time out the construction so that way it fits in the middle of those two schedules as well. And if there's any questions on the project as we go about, go ahead and just bring them up and we'll try to address them as we go through the discussion. 2026 key improvements, of course, the second half of the Egan Avenue project that would extend on Egan from 5th Street to Northwest 9th Street. And then we've identified one of the top priority improvement projects to upgrade the infrastructure on South Egan from Southwest 4th Street to south of Silver Creek. This would be both a water and sanitary sewer replacement scope. And included in the plan is also to complete studies for the wastewater system. In discussion with the staff, there's a need to do some evaluation and investigation on the sanitary sewer system. There hasn't been a lot of effort placed into that review in recent years. So with that, there's not an adequate amount of documentation to be able to make appropriate recommendations on what improvements would provide the most value for the city regarding their wastewater collection system. Another item that you know, the staff and we think is important as well is completing a rate study. And the rate study would be looking at the water and the wastewater rates, identifying if they're appropriate to cover the infrastructure costs that the city has and that the city's planning. Some other things to review as well is the layout of the rate structure, and that could be completed in that review and analysis. In 2027, and you'll see as I move through this, the value of work is reducing. And we talked, the city did take on a large amount of infrastructure work, and so to sustain that, it's difficult without having some avenues of financing, i.e. grants or taking on very large loans. So looking at 2027, we've got 2 projects identified, one being segment 10. This is in the southwest part of town. It'd be on Southwest 2nd Street from West Avenue to Union Avenue. And then also a water main replacement and looping project, and that'd be on South Grant Avenue. It's a bore underneath of Silver Creek. We would have the second phase of the wastewater collection system study, and then also look at completing a water distribution upgrade, or sorry, a water distribution modeling update. And with the substantial amount of work that has taken place over the last 5 years, although that was modeled in to identify the, you know, the line sizes and capacity needs of the system, there's still updates that would need to be done to the water model, so that if we are reviewing any type of service requests, especially large service requests, we'd have a model to reference to be able to make recommendations to the city. In 2028, we've got one construction project identified, and that's on West Avenue from Southwest 2nd to Northwest 2nd. That'd be a water and sanitary sewer utility replacement. And then we do have, contingent upon available funding, the start or phase 1 of a storm sewer study to identify where there are some flooding issues in town that would cause substantial damage, and identifying ways to mitigate those issues. And in 2029, we've got identified a water replacement project. This would be on Northwest 9th from Egan Avenue to Washington Avenue. That would complete the 12-inch conveyance line or distribution line from the North Water Tower. Right now there's 12-inch from the water tower to Washington, and then it was picked up in the segment 9 project on Northwest 9th. It was picked up on Egan Avenue and extended out to Union. And then of course we've got a 12-inch line going south on Union, connecting that main trunk line through the heart of the distribution system. And then of course we've got identified phase 2 of the storm sewer comprehensive study. With that, we go into financing of the projects. And the financing of the projects, of course, financing is generally done through reserve funding or utility rate reserves or utility rate increases. What I have laid out here in the finance summary sheet, there's 3 separate categories. Generally, annually budgeted financing, which would be the reserves or general fund. And as we look through that table, really we're not anticipating that there are reserves to be utilized. The reserves have been already appropriated to, you know, previous projects, and they're included in the bills now as surcharges. So most of the financing to complete the work that's in this plan would have to be completed using user rate financing or user impact financing. And that would be by raising water rates and sewer rates. And what we're identifying in this table is the value of or the revenue that would have to be generated to cover the cost of the, you know, improvements that are being planned. As far as secured and anticipated financing, so right now you can see in 25 and 26, there's a substantial amount of loan dollars, ARPA dollars, other financing, and that is due to projects that are finishing up now. They were previously funded, or there was money allocated, appropriated to those projects, and after 2026, there hasn't been any money that's been allocated to the future infrastructure work. Any questions regarding that?
Questions or comments? I want to thank all of you in that for putting this together. I can remember when the 2020 one was put together, and as you mentioned and Ryan has mentioned, that quite a bit has been done, and it's been to the definite benefit of the citizens of Madison. And so planning ahead and looking at the needs for the future is extremely important.
Absolutely.
Other questions or comments?
Go ahead.
I'll hold my question. It actually has to do more with what's up on the screen now, so.
Okay. All right.
You
No
jump-
action is required
You
on
jumping
this.
into this?
Well, I can go into that discussion, I guess, on
Okay.
the last slide, if you'd like, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Dibdall, if you did have a question, I can maybe address it as part of this discussion.
Yeah, and I can just say it too. So this is saying that the anticipated water and sewer increase is about $13.10 per customer per month. In 2026, it looks like you can see those rate increases, but it's even higher in 2027. Is there gonna be an additional projected rate increase from 26 to 27?
The math that was used, to generate the $13.10 per customer per month, that was taking the total cost of this 5-year plan and amortizing it out with a 30-year loan at 3.75% interest rate, and identifying what that annual cost was or is, dividing that by the amount of customers that the city has, which is around 3,400 customers. And so that would be $13.10, water plus sewer, so that's a total, how it gets distributed towards the water or the sewer, that's yet to be determined, it depends on cost of each. But that would be to complete what's included in this plan. So there could be different approaches, and that would be a benefit of a rate study to identify an approach that would, accommodate the community best. It could be a rate increase at one time, or it could be smaller rate increases annually. And incrementally, it would just have to be adjusted to compensate or cover the cost of each improvement.
If my memory is correct in that, we had a presentation on this quite a while ago, and we looked at the different options of starting with a lower increase and then moving it up gradually, or going vice versa. And so it seems to me like at that point in time, we felt it was easier to go 9% on the lesser amount and then lesser amounts on the greater amount in the future.
That was on the electric.
That was on electric?
Yeah.
Okay, and so this here would be something in that we would look at then too, in the same light, right?
So what's the rate study gonna do if we already know what we need?
So what this is stating is using that simple math of it's $13.10 per customer. There are some structures where a customer that uses more, they would then have to pay a higher rate for that service, to where a residential customer may not be charged on that same rate structure. And that's part of the rate study, is to look at what are your current rates today. Do you have any surcharges that may be coming off of that usage bill, and help time projects to where if we have some of these notes coming off, then we could be adding more work on. Because at that time, you'd be generating reserves. And the rate study, honestly, I wouldn't perform the rate study. We've got other individuals at Banner that could assist the city with completing a rate study. And we have done that for numerous communities to help them set these rate structures.
And that's the $75,000 for that rate study?
That is a budgetary number, a conservative budgetary number.
Other questions? So at this point in time, we're basically acknowledging the IIP. No other formal action is being required at this point in time.
Yeah, Ryan, what's the timeline? I mean, obviously, if we want to implement a rate increase January 1, probably need to start looking at that soon.
Yeah, and I think there's a number of options, like Weston mentioned. I don't know that we have to do any rate increases January 1 of 2026. I mean, this could be, we could be looking at rate increases in 27 instead of 26. I think that we should do the rate study first before we do any kind of rate increases.
Yeah, that seems like it'd make the most sense to me.
And Mike Plooster, he started some of that already. Comps and where we sit.
Okay. So, if Mike is working on something like that now, do you have a timeline as to when he may have something to present and then input on a rate study?
To be clear,
Yeah.
Mike's not working on any kind of rate studies.
Right.
He's done comparisons to see where our utility rates are, comparisons
That's
to
what
some
I
other
was getting at.
utilities, but which would be a different activity than what Banner would be proposing here for a rate study. Yeah, and there's no timeline on that because there's no next step on that either.
And I did question the amount of $75,000 with Banner. It is a very conservative estimate. I expect it to come in a little bit less than that.
Any other questions or comments? All right. We'll move on then to authorize the mayor to sign the project closeout on the Madison Municipal Airport, AIG number 3-46 0029 026 of 2024. And again, Ryan, would you want to address that one?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this project closeout is airport improvement project grant for design costs of the reconstruct apron and reconstruct taxi lane at the airport. We refer to this as phase 1. This grant was accepted almost a year ago to the day. It was June 18th of 2024, and the grant offer was $56,800. After the city takes this action and the mayor signs, it would be submitted to the South Dakota Department of Transportation and the FAA, and that would allow the city to receive the final payment for our 2024 FAA grant. The city received the initial payment of $51,075 on January 17th, and this closeout request would be for the remaining balance of $5,725.
Questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item number 15.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 16, June 2025 finance updates. Amy, do you want to take that?
Sure.
Jameson?
We are currently working with Communications Department to ensure our financial reporting and public-facing materials comply with current federal requirements associated with rural development RD funding. As part of this effort, certain updates to how information is presented to the public will be implemented to meet these legal obligations. We have completed the reserves internal audit in the tune of $5,434,162. This is reflected within the city's total reported cash on hand. This update covers year-to-date through May of 2025, which is 40.98% of the year. We have cash on hand, general cash at 12.01 million, investments at 5.96 million, checking 5.09 million, money market at 687,000, other 273,000, restricted cash at 629,000. We have revenue guidelines. Expenditure guidelines.
Does that tax increment District Number 3, is that one completed?
Yes,
It showed 0 revenue and 0 expense.
I do believe it is done.
Okay.
By fund for May? By fund year-to-date? And sales tax did come in, so I updated these slides from the packet. It's at a 2.67% for May, and overall year-to-date is a negative 3.04. So sales tax for May of 2025 was 443,297, which is a 2.67%.
And that still shows that we're still ahead of 2023 and 2022, even with that bump that we had in April last year, so.
Correct. Oops. And then the graph.
Questions or comments?
Amy, any word from the auditors?
No, I was at FO school last week, and I did speak with several different finance officers regarding their audits and if any of them are using our same company. We're looking at 10 to 11 months on a return of audit with other municipalities.
So are we still in the same ballpark? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's actually going to be a little bit longer than what I had initially thought. At 10 to 11 months from when they were on site puts us on to November, so we will be looking at what our next action steps will be.
Okay.
Amy, can you go back to the cash on hand slide? I'm sorry.
Yep.
So is this including transfers from 2024? Or are we still needing to do that?
Yep, no transfers from 2024 are included in that. We did not allocate anything to reserves in 2024, just coming into the year not knowing where we were sitting, waiting for audits to come back and gaining some clarity on that. So we don't have any reserve transfers, but we will have the transfer that we used cash to balance the budget for 2025.
that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I'm just looking at the costs on the IIP and what we have on hand, and doesn't feel like a lot extra.
Yeah, I think it's a very valid concern. I think the city departments worked really hard. As you can see, you'll see them drop off, I think, drastically, moving 26 through 29. We did cut those and spread that out, expressing concern to Banner on utilizing the funds correctly.
Sure, yeah. I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, no other questions or comments? All right, thank you, Amy.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna guess we don't have any public comment. So, under announcements, our next regular commission meeting will be Monday, July 7th, 5:30 PM here in the commission room. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Recording.
There was a fire, Adam.